Game time, long ball time, daily Coppock time. Daily Coppock, of course, brought to you by the marvelous people over at Carmichael's Chicago Steakhouse, the Chicago Steakhouse, the primetime Chicago Steakhouse, 1052 West Monroe Street. Lower the boom on a big Chicago cut steak. Try out the barbecued ribs. Enjoy the au gratin potatoes. Knock it down with a slab of carrot cake. I'm telling you, you are in gastronomical ecstasy. Meanwhile, I could talk about the genius of Derrick Rose. I could talk about stifling Bulls defense. Or I could talk about the fact that right now, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade simply cannot play together. But I'm going to go in a different angle. I'm sure you saw Sunday's ball game between the Bulls and the Miami Heat as the Bulls knocked off Miami for the third time this year. I want to talk about Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra. After the ball game, Spoelstra sits down with a pen and mic club and very woefully tells the writers, I've got guys in my locker room right now who are crying. Erik, what are you thinking about? First of all, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. You sold your ball club out. What does that mean? In my world, if I owned the Miami Heat, I would have told frontman Pat Riley, whether you like it or not, Erik is gone, and as of today, you are the brand new head coach of the Miami Heat. All right, he is living, breathing proof that if you have got talent, if you have got charisma, you don't necessarily have to be a Boy Scout to make a living. Who am I talking about? Charlie Sheen. Yes, the Charlie Sheen, bagged by CBS, bagged by 2.5 Men. So you figure right now, Charlie can't get arrested, right? You might want to guess again. Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, a major entrepreneur, is trying to hire Charlie to be a member of his HD Net. Meanwhile, a Los Angeles-based Twitter agency has put Charlie on the payroll to tweet. Within 24 hours of joining the world of Twitter, Charlie had over 1 million followers, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. That is a meet, course, and world record. You know what? Hey, don't worry about Charlie Sheen selling streetwise. Don't worry about having his tag day for Charlie Sheen. The guy's always going to make money.
What's going on, Charlie?
How do you always know what gate we're going to come out of?
It's a secret.
It's unbelievable, man. You guys are good. So what's happening, bro? You doing all right?
Good. What's going on with you?
Doing great. Just finished the show, and that's about it. Back to work. Everything's good. Everything's good.
So what's going on with the missing watch?
It's still missing, but the way I look at it is if you have expensive tastes, you got to be prepared for expensive losses. So it is what it is. I mean, a guy has one bad night and everybody goes insane and panics, and I'm not panicking. So
you know what? I still miss the show after all these years. It's been roughly a generation since Johnny Carson last hosted The Tonight Show. Carson was great. Carson was a television comedic genius. Always at his best doing one particular character with his sidekick, Ed McMahon. That character, the man from the mystical East, Karnak the Magnificent.
Noon today. Mount Baldy. Mount Baldy. What did Mrs. Yule Brenner do on her honeymoon? Stunned even the great Karnak. My fancy flashed. I had no idea.
You had no way of knowing it was sealed in there.
I saw it. The end of royalty.
The end of royalty.
Whereas Prince Charles has been spending a lot of his time lately. Karnak headed into Punjab Portageon. Jerry Falwell.
Jerry Falwell.
How does ex-President Ford come down the stairs?
Keep in mind, she didn't begin driving last Tuesday. She is very much a seasoned veteran, whether you're talking about open-wheel racing or you're talking about NASCAR. Now, do you know who won the Las Vegas 200-mile NASCAR race over the weekend out in Glitter Gulch? Would you know Mark Martin if you saw him walking down Michigan Avenue? Would you know Mark Martin if he sat down right next to you? No. Martin won the race, but that's already old news. The big story, Danica Patrick. The diminutive Danica Patrick finished fourth, the best finish ever by a female in a NASCAR event. Now, here is the question I want you to contemplate. Danica Patrick and GoDaddy.com. Who has been more responsible for the commercial success of Danica? Her own magnetic personality, her own baby doll good looks, or the fact that she has been given such a bump, such major hype by GoDaddy? I lean with GoDaddy. They've taken a very pretty girl and made her a very wealthy pretty girl. And by the way, if Danica Patrick ever wins the Indianapolis 500, she will make more money than any driver on the face of the earth. Now, Jonathan Toews, the Chicago Blackhawks, the center iceman, a brilliant hockey player. I don't think anybody is going to complain if Jonathan Toews walks off with a Hart Trophy as National Hockey League Most Valuable Player. But, in my opinion, Jonathan, as good as he is not even the most vital player on the Chicago Blackhawk roster. Look between the pipes. Look at the man behind the cage. Look at goaltender Corey Crawford, a guy who began the year supposedly as a caddy for goaltender Marty Turco. You talk about Corey Crawford, you talk about a guy who paid the dues, spent a lot of time with the Rockford Ice Hogs, earning the opportunity to become a goaltender on a National Hockey League franchise. The numbers that Corey Crawford has put up have been absolutely off the charts good. He has been the linchpin for this franchise. Now, I think the Blackhawks will wind up going to the playoffs as a 4 or 5 seed. Without going to long and deep detail, let's simply say that if Corey Crawford wasn't a member of the Chicago Blackhawks, in my opinion, comes the end of the regular season, the Blackhawks more than likely would be going to the golf course. All right, here we go. Here's where we get pertinent. We provide information on the Daily Coppock you simply don't get anywhere else. All these years you thought that Tommy Two-Tone was the real name of a singer for a group that turned out a song called Jenny Jenny, Who Can I Turn To? 8675309, right? No! Hey, we cover all tabs on the Daily Coppock. Tommy Two-Tone is actually Tommy Heath. The name Tommy Two-Tone was derived from a band featuring Tommy that was called Tommy and the Two-Tones. We are nothing if not education. We remind you, as we say goodbye on this edition of the Daily Coppock, don't forget, pick up your copy of Fat Guys Shouldn't Be Dancing at Halftime. Do it before Borders is down to 5 stores on 5 different continents. Also, make it a point to stop by Carmichael's, the place for steaks in Chicago. There isn't a better place. Enjoy that big Chicago cut steakhouse. I'm telling you, once you stop into Carmichael's, I guarantee you, you're going to be a regular. Catch you next time around. Thank you for joining us. Follow us on Facebook. This has been the Daily Coppock. I am Coppock, and right now, I am out of here.